Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS. It's time for Owin's Field Report, sponsored by Les Schwab Tire Centers.
Welcome back, everyone. Now, this week, for a number of different reasons, has been very interesting. Okay, so before we get to any of my photos or my report, just some of the things that I'll throw out there. Thursday, overall, based on conditions, clarity, level, the Willamette was very interesting. I know of more fish caught on the Willamette, spring Chinook that is, than the river system that I've been spending time on chasing steelhead on that particular day. Now, that's not normal in a number of ways, but Thursday I know of at least 5 Chinook that were caught on the Willamette. Now, the Willamette system is a huge system. The reports that I got were from as far down the Willamette as you can get to pretty much staring at the falls at Oregon City, believe it or not. So spread out, right? And a lot of that's going to be because of that high water that we had. Fish will move in, they can get spread out in the river system, and then ultimately stall out when everything starts to drop and start to clear, right? So is it saying that it's now full-blown springer time, go out, go get them? No. It's the 8th of March. Following day, which was yesterday, I didn't get any reports of any fish that were caught. And there were significantly more boats on the water than there was on the previous day. So it's just that time of year. Pilot shots come through, fish are just lazy, all of a sudden something's in front of them, and maybe they start to catch on. It's impossible to say why the next day would be complete blank. But it is something to get excited about, it being so early on in the spring Chinook season. We're going to talk a little bit more about that with Chris Bertopoulos here in just a little bit. But as we go forward through the month, water conditions, turbidity, all these things are going to be hugely important. Fish counts, like we always show, they don't mean a darn thing right now. These fish aren't migrating over the falls or over the dam at all. I mean, it's just simply something for us to look at, right? But there are fish in the system. It is certainly something to get, keep on your radar. If you're getting over chasing steelhead around, which there's a lot of people that are just saying, let's move on. And I understand why. There are some options out there, and there are a handful of reports of Chinook that have been caught on the Columbia in the much lower sections of the Columbia. Now, those could be Willamette fish, those could be Columbia fish, who knows? But at the very least, it's positive stuff, right? So it is a good time to make sure that you're going to have all your gear ready to go, especially if you're going to be fishing the Columbia. Again, it closes that first week of April. Not a lot of time left to try to make something happen out there. Good herring, get your stock of fish flash, keep it tight, meaning on the bottom, most of the time, depending on certain things. It's a totally other discussion. But it's certainly something to keep on the radar, and hopefully, if you get out there, have some success, send those photos over. We'd love to show you off. Overall, though, when I get to my steelhead report, very, very slow. It doesn't matter if it's along the coast, if it's inland or up north. It just seems like it's just, after that big high water event we just had a week or so ago, a lot of people are very excited about that. I know I was. Typically, when you have a freshet like that, you have a big push of fish that shows up, and you can kind of pick on them a little while before they make their way up whatever river system it happens to be. It just doesn't seem like that's happened. 3 days this week chasing steelhead, and not a whole lot to show for it. But again, we'll get to that in a second. But I've been spending a lot of my time in a drift boat. Now, we all know that Portland Marine is one of our sponsors here at Outdoor GPS. They are the retailer for Willie boats here locally, and I went ahead and bought myself a Willie drift boat, and I'm so glad I did. I absolutely love it. I'd love to see some more fish, but there's something about there's just something about it. As all drift boaters and rafters out there are probably very, very well aware of. But what I'm showing you here is something that Haxton's does. Haxton's Custom Upholstery, Canvas and Upholstery, does for any boat that's out there, and I thought it would be perfect in a drift boat. This is called Sea Deck. Okay, you can see on the bow of the boat there, it's just a very thin material, maybe a 1/4 inch thick. I'm sure a lot of you may have seen it in the past. But I thought it would be perfect in the drift boat to eliminate scratches and make it a little bit easier to clean up and just look good, for crying out loud. But you can see that's the front end that we did there. We made sure to pay homage, or whatever you want to call it, to Willie boats there. But you can see I did the Sea Deck all the way from the front of the boat to the back. Every flat surface got that Sea Deck material on the gunnels as well. And you can see I put rulers on both sides, which I think will come in handy if I were to land a few more fish. But hey, it is what it is. I absolutely love it. I've only fished with it twice since I've had the boat, the last 2 trips out. And instantly I noticed a difference. And for all you drift boaters out there that have a floor like mine, being able to step to the sides and not have any concerns about the pain or whatever else there, I love it. So certainly something to keep on your radar. If you're interested in something like that, that's what Haxton's does. Just another thing that I was unaware of with them. Also, if you are like me and you want to take care of your oars, I've got a beautiful set of edge oars. They're, you know, $1,000, $1,100 a set. They also make bags for your sticks. And as soon as I knew that, I had to make me one. I can't wait to show it to you, because if you're like me and you want to take care of those things, you can separate them. But I'll show you that here at some point as we go forward. But taking a look at, oh, there you go. Taking a look at some of the other photos that I gave you, Ryan, and I forgot where we were in the order. But go ahead and move on, and we'll get to the rest of the report segment. Took my daughter out yesterday, and we had a ton of fun. I let her spend a little bit of time in the right spots, of course, to mess around with the oars. It's not her first time that she's played around with the sticks, but she always wants to jump right into it and find out what I'm doing. You know, she can do it better, right? She's 12. They always think they can do it better. But all that was about yesterday was just training, learning how to cast correctly, how to pay attention to a bobber, how to mend line, you know, trying to make sure that she's aware of what it is that we're doing when we're chasing these steelhead around. No steelhead yesterday for us, unfortunately, but she did get a couple of suckers, and it was because she finally understood how to cast correctly, mend correctly, and fish that bobber the right way. And she was able to keep that bead, that's, we were fishing beads, in the strike zone, where the fish actually are. Once she caught on, it was amazing. It was awesome to see how she was just excited, even about a sucker. I mean, heck, for Monday and Tuesday, we were also excited about suckers, but that's another story. But at the very least, she had a ton of fun while we were out there. Although I do have a photo to show. I did have a little bit of a success. I will admit that out of all the amount of time that we spent Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, very few fish hooked in my boat. In the end, I would say that you're not going to get a lot of chances. Just make the most of them when you do. And I was lucky enough to get this fish landed. And I just, that particular day, I think that was on Tuesday, everybody was just crying the blues. No fish around. And it's just been super tough. It's just one of those things that you just got to chalk it up to. Each year's a little bit different, right? It just is what it is. But fish counts. Now, like I mentioned already just a little bit ago, not a big deal this time of year. Nothing's even over the falls yet. We're going to go to Bonneville right away, and you'll see that same thing. No fish have crossed over. We're just going to have this on the radar so that you can see what's happening. But we have to include turbidity on the Willamette, because this is that time of year. You can see where it had blown out this past week, and now very quickly back down into very fishable colors. Anything under 11 is, well, 12, fine. But I'm an 11 person, right? If I see turbidity under 11, I'm pretty confident as long as I get my baits in the right zone, fish are going to be able to see it at least well enough to understand that it's something they're supposed to eat. Now, they might say no, but at least it's better conditions. But you can see now at 6 on the turbidity level, excellent. Now, I would expect that that might change a little bit. We're going to find out from Peyton Major in a little bit how much rain we actually have coming and if that's going to change anything. And you'll see in the river levels, Columbia, you know, it is enough of a tide change where if you are going to be out there, you know, sitting on the anchor on the incoming tide, depending on where you are, and then, of course, trolling, if not trolling the whole time in these conditions, pretty optimal when you're in those kind of situations on the Columbia. The Willamette, same thing. It's not showing a massive bounce, which is great for folks that are trying to get out there in this month, in March, to try to chase those springers around. You really can't ask for better river conditions. When you got the clarity working for you in March, you got the levels working for you in March, and you yet still have current, which is a big deal throughout the whole system. It is very cool to see that. Then taking a look at some of the smaller rivers, not fishing great for whatever reason, but conditions couldn't be any better. As we roll through them, you'll start seeing, even along the coast, you got a stair step coming, which is all good stuff. They're not enough to blow everything out, hopefully, but at the very least, it's enough to where the rivers will change and might motivate fish to either become more active or get more of them to leave the saltwater and actually make their way in to their tributaries, their ultimate tributaries that they're going to. So hopefully this upcoming week will be good with the rain that we have coming. Again, we'll find out from Peyton what that's really going to look like. But everybody wants something for free, and it looks like it's easy to do. You can send Jason an email over at Procure, be entered in to win that prize pack, and we have officially changed it. Is that right, Ryan? Now it is slanted towards Spring Chinook, okay? So if you enter in to win, you have to do it each week. Jason picks a winner every Monday morning. Yes, it is real. And you do have a chance to win that prize pack from Procure. All the stuff that you need to start that early season troll. Cure up your herring the right way, get some scent in there, and hopefully get it in front of that Spring Chinook. Well, hopefully it's not too far down the road for myself as well. Also, don't forget, this is new for us here at Outdoor GPS, working a little bit with Abby's Pizza. And I don't know about you, I love Abby's Pizza. But they're doing a photo contest. Ryan, anywhere that I get wrong here, make sure you let me know. Gift card for a giant pizza of your choice. You just email your fishing or hunting photo in to gps@abbys.com. One winner per week. Now, again, the best breakfast there is. If you're in a duck blind, in a drift boat, jet sled, if the sun is just barely coming up, cold pizza. I'm sorry. That's one of my favorite breakfasts in the world. Simple as that, and it's easy. You can just go ahead and throw it in the boat. All right, let's check in with Peyton and find out what this weather is really going to do. It looks like it's going to be active.
Yes.
Maybe a good way to put it this upcoming week.
Very much, and by the way, I love Abby's Pizza, and now I'm hungry. Okay, daylight saving time. Really quick, begins tonight. So if you have those manual clocks, switch them ahead an hour before you go to bed tonight. Sunrise this morning was at 6:30. Tomorrow it'll be at 7:30, and then same with the sunset. We gain about 3 minutes of daylight a day, though, through the month of March. So we'll start to see earlier sunrises and later sunsets through the month. 62 degrees is our forecast high today for the metro, 42 overnight, and some evening showers arrive tomorrow. I don't think this weekend will be a washout. We're tracking this atmospheric river, or Pineapple Express, stretching all the way from Hawaii to actually northern, kind of northwest, all the way to northern Washington into Canada. This is really avoiding us right now, but tomorrow that's going to change. So I'll show you our forecast future view. Not much activity today. I think a few more clouds if you're kind of near northwest Oregon, and if you're in the Central Valleys, a little more sunshine. This is 4 p.m. tomorrow. Those showers start to move through from the northwest to the southeast, and likely this will be a mainly overnight event. So very light rain. How much are we expecting? I think 1/4 of an inch is fair game for the metro, all the way down to the valleys. The coast a little higher, closer to 1/2 inch. West Hills close to 1/2 inch as well. If you're in eastern Oregon, it's not quite going to get you. Those mountains kind of tend to squeeze out the rain. But let's talk about the active week we have. So next system is actually late Tuesday into Wednesday. I think Wednesday's more steady rain. Tuesday, mostly dry. And then Thursday into Friday, another system. And yes, you're even seeing some snow there on Mount Hood. I think this could easily give us about 1 inch of rain at least through the week. So days to watch will be Wednesday and Friday. Light afternoon showers, though, arrive on Sunday and Tuesday. So we'll see what those river levels do, Owen. But yeah, good wet week.
I love it. A little bit of rain coming into the system, not a blowout by any means, and just keeps everybody a little honest on how the conditions are going to be. As always, Peyton, thank you. We appreciate it. All right, we're going to cut to a break. When we come back, I've got Chris V here in the studio. Chris Bertopoulos, that is. We're going to talk a little bit of winter steelhead. We're going to talk some spring Chinook, and I'm even going to lean on him for some techie-tippy stuff. That was made up all the way. To see if that might help you as we go forward through March. We'll be right back.
Outdoor GPS is brought to you by P-Line, because we fish, by Hawken Fishing, perfection in fishing gear, and by Haxton's Canvas and Upholstery, the trusted name of the Pacific Northwest.